dynamics of machines. So, example dito. Ito lang, yung mechanism lang ng mga linkages, yung ini-studyhan natin. Kinukuha natin yung velocity, yung displacement ng mga linkage, ganun. At saka yung sa dynamics, nag-i-involve na yan ng force. So, what amount of torque yung kailangan natin to push this wrench? Mga ganun. So, proceed tayo sa machines. So, I know, kilala nyo to, si Rancho. So, define niya yung machine as anything that simplifies works. Basahin lang natin. Anything that simplifies works or saves time is a machine. It's a warm day. Press a button. Get a blast of air. The fan. A machine. Speak to a friend miles away. The telephone. A machine. Compute millions of seconds. The calculator. A machine. We are surrounded by machine. From a pen's nib to a pant's zip. All machines. Up and down in a second. Up, down, up, down. Diba yung zipper? This is the simplest definition of machine. But let's look at the definition of Chatur. He is Chatur. Siya na. Machines are any combinations of bodies so connected that their relative motions are constrained, and by which means force and motion may be transmitted and modified as a screw and its nut, or a lever arranged to turn about a fulcrum or a pulley, about its pivot, etc., especially a construction more or less complex consisting of a combination of moving parts or simple mechanical elements as wheels, levers, coms, etc. So what I want you to take note is a machine is any combination of bodies. Any combination of bodies at dito rin, force and motion may be transmitted. So the sole purpose of a machine is mag-transmit or mag-transform ng force at saka motion. Yun lang yun. So, dito, ito. Another definition of machine. A machine is a device for transforming and transferring energy. It is defined as consisting of a number of fixed and moving bodies interposed between the source of power and the work to be done for the purpose of adapting one to the other. So, take note about this, itong transforming or transferring at saka interposed between. So, a machine is only a device that is being interposed, parang pinagitnaan niya ng then the sole purpose of a machine is to transform or transfer the energy. So if we have mechanical energy here, transform into electrical, we have something like a generator. Then another example is this. We have an electrical energy, and electrical energy transform into mechanical energy. A machine is called a motor. Dito naman, an engine. An engine is also a machine. It transforms chemical energy into mechanical energy. So yun lang. A machine transforms or transfers energy. It is interposed between the source of power and the work to be done. So let's proceed to kinematic diagram. So on the picture here, we have a diesel engine. So when we create a kinematic diagram, all the elements that are not contributing to the dynamics of our mechanism is ini-eliminate natin yan. At yung natitira is yung tinatawag natin na skeleton form. And this is the form of what we call the kinematic diagram. In our kinematic diagram, we have what we call link. A link is the name given to any body which has motion relative to another. So if we have this kinematic diagram, anything that moves sa ATOA diagram is what we call link. And yung tinatawag na fixed link natin doon, yung fixed na link natin, yung tinatawag na frame. Ito, frame is a part of a machine which is stationary and which supports the moving members, designated link 1. So, dito sa diesel engine natin, itong skeletal form natin to, yung frame natin, 'di ba dito, ito yung frame. Pero dito, sa skeleton form natin sa kinematic diagram, this is denoted or drawn as a ground. Ito, pinifix siya, ground. So ground is considered as or is designated as link 1. So we have 4 links here. So link 4, our slider, link 3, and link 2. And then the link 1 is our ground. So here, for example, the ground here, ground. So mamaya malalaman natin yung yung something kung singular ground ba siya, binary or ternary. So, kinematic diagram. So the formal definition of kinematic diagram is a scale drawing representing the machine so that only the dimensions which affect its motion are recorded. So, that's it. So we have what we call also a rigid link. So a rigid link is one whose deformations are so small that they can be neglected in determining the motion of various other links in a machine. So as you observe kanina sa sa diesel engine natin, 'di ba, if we draw the skeleton or the skeletal diagram ng diesel engine natin, yung crank which is considered as one link is dinodraw natin as a line. Kasi yung yung motion ng mechanism natin sa diesel engine is hindi siya dependent sa kung gaano ka thick yung link natin. So pwede lang natin i-represent as a line dito. And yung crank natin is also considered as rigid link kasi hindi siya nabibend, just nabibend. Di kumpara yung mga springs, yung belt which is nabibend siya, di ba? So rigid link are examples of rigid link are yung mga crankshaft natin, mga ganon. So rigid link there is also what we call a classification of rigid link. These are singular link, binary link, and ternary link. So what's the difference between the singular, binary, and ternary? So an example of singular is this one. It is see that there is only one connection. So if there is only one connecting point here, that link is considered as a singular link. If dalawa na yung connection, example dito is ito, nakikita nyo ba yung pointer? Ito, this one is considered as binary link because it has two connections. One here, and the other is here. So another binary connection or binary link is this one. This one is connected to the ground, and the other is yung slider niya. Ito. So another singular link na makikita dito is yung ground. Ground is connected only to one connection point here. So ayun. So another example sa picture 2 natin. This one, this slider here, is considered as a binary link. Why? Because one of its connection is here, the ground. It's connected to the ground. It slides through the ground. And another connection is here. Ito, connected siya sa link na to. So dalawa yung connection niya, ibig sabihin, it's a binary link. This one also is a binary link. Another binary link is this one. Another binary link is this slider. It is connected to this link and connected to this link. So dalawang connection niya. So for ternary link, we have two ternary link here. This one, this longest link here, is considered as ternary link. It's because it has three connections. One here, and another here. So another ternary link that we can observe here is the ground. So ternary because it has three connection points. One here, and another dito sa slider. So that's why the ground here is considered as ternary link, whereas dito, ground is only a singular link. So another, di ba kanina, dinefine natin yung rigid link. So another link is a flexible link. Flexible link is one which while transmitting motion is partly deformed in a manner not to affect the transmission of motion. Example of these are the spring, the chain, the rope, the belt. So in this picture, we can see that itong 3 is a flexible link. It can partly deform. So if yung flexible link natin is always in tension, is pwedeng i-consider yung flexible natin as rigid link. Example for this one is this. So ito, we have a rigid link here. Compared dito, it is a flexible link. But if this one is always in tension, pwede natin yung palitan as a rigid link. That is, if we analyze this kinematics, yung term nito, yung instantaneously. Instantaneously meaning at that moment lang, yung parang that specific moment, at that point, at that instant. So, yun, if we calculate the kinematics of this mechanism at that instant of time or instantaneously, pwede natin palitan yung flexible link as a rigid link if that link is always in tension. So, another flexible link, example of flexible link is ito. So, we have a piston here. So, alam natin na kapag ito ipupush, at aangat tong A2 dito. Yan. So, the flexible link that is considered here is the fluid that we use to move this piston. Diba? So, another equivalent na na representation ng to is on this right figure. Ito. So, diba, if we apply force here going downward, yung piston natin dito sa right side is aangat, going upward, di ba? So same dito din. If we have a rigid link here and na may pivot dito, if we push A here at a distance D1, aangat yung B dito at a distance D2. From, so if we analyze the kinematics of this mechanism, ito, at an instant of time, we may consider that yung kinematics niya is the same. That is only if the ratio of A1 and A2 is equal to the ratio of B1 and B2. Diba? So dito, yung if ipupush mo itong A downward, aangat yung B. But hindi yung aangat na ganito, diba? Aangat to na parang mag-rotate. Pero if we consider only at an instant of time lang, so yung velocity natin is going upward, not rotating, 'di ba? So somewhat itong figure na to is similar sa figure na to. So another, kinematic chain. So what is kinematic chain? Kinematic chain is a system of links that is rigid bodies which are either joined together or are in contact with one another in a manner that permits them to move relative to one another. So if we have links that are connected in such a way that one link is being fixed while the other can move freely relative to the other links, it is considered as kinematic chain. So this is not considered as kinematic chain kasi even if they are so connected, even if you fixed one sa mga link niya, yung other link can't move relative to one another kasi parang yun yung tinatawag na structure or truss. So a kinematic chain na hindi nagmo-move, we call it structure or truss. So kinematic chain can also be classified as constrained kinematic chain and unconstrained kinematic chain. So constrained kinematic chain, if one of the links is fixed and the movement of any other link to a new position will cause each of the other links to move to definite predictable position. So yung unconstrained is the opposite. It will not cause. So take note about the underlined word. Will cause to definite predictable position. So kapag you have a kinematic chain and one chain is being fixed and then the next chain, if i-move mo siya, magko-cause ng movement din sa ibang link at na yung position ng mga link is definite or predictable, that is considered constrained link. So magbibigay na lang ako ng example para mas maintindihan. So ito yung difference ng constrained at saka unconstrained. So example dito, yung sa diesel engine natin, if you move this crank here, going or rotate it counterclockwise, this link 3 at saka link 4 will move, di ba? At yung movement niya is determinate or yung definite. Ibig sabihin, pwede nating malaman. So if yung movement ng crank natin nandito, so definitely we can solve or we can plot yung movement ng link 3 at saka link 4. Dito sa unconstrained kinematic chain, example nito yung slider crank, if we move link 2, if we fix link 1, then move link 2, yung link 3 at saka link 4 at saka link 5, infinite yung possible na movement niya, diba? So it is unpredictable kung ano yung susunod na movement niya. So this one is considered as unconstrained kinematic chain. So that's the difference between the constrained and the unconstrained. So it is also important to note that yung mechanism is considered as constrained kinematic chain. So all unconstrained kinematic chain are not considered as mechanism. So yun. So I want you to elaborate why this statement is true. So though all machines are mechanism, not all mechanisms are machines. So pwede kayong mag-search and I want you to explain why this statement is true. So lahat daw, though all machines are mechanisms daw, but not all mechanisms are machines. So yan, assignment ko yan sa inyo. So mechanism, let's proceed. Kinematic chain. Kinematic chain can also be classified as planar kinematic chain or spatial kinematic chain. So yung planar kinematic chain all links move in parallel planes. An example of it is itong ito yung anong tawag to, bulldozer. So lahat ng movement ng link na ito is in parallel. Kahit may mga spaces diyan, pero yung movement niya is parallel to one plane. So yung spatial kinematic chain naman is link motion is not restricted to any plane. So it can move in 3 dimensions or in 6 degrees of freedom. It can move translationally sa x, sa y, at saka sa z, or it can rotate along the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. So kinematic chain can also be considered as closed kinematic chain, open kinematic chain, and hybrid kinematic chain. So what's the difference between the three? So sa closed kinematic chain, no singular link exists. No singular link. Yan, di ba nakikita naman yun na walang singular link. A singular link is defined as a link with one connection point. So lahat na nakikita nyo dito sa example na to, yung connection point niya is 2. So wala talagang singular link dito. So how about open kinematic chain? So open kinematic chain is a kinematic chain that has at least one singular link and no closed chain. So example nito, ito. So example ng open kinematic chain is a robotic arm. Ganun. So yung hybrid kinematic chain naman is a combination of closed and open. So we have here, as you can see, ano ba yung pointer ng mouse ko? We have here a closed kinematic chain combined with an open kinematic chain, and we have hybrid kinematic chain. So we have kinematic inversion. So what is kinematic inversion? Kinematic inversion is the process of fixing different links in a kinematic chain. So example nito is yung slider crank. Slider crank mechanism natin, wherein yung ground, our link 1 here, ground, is being fixed. So if we apply inversion here, kinematic inversion, we allow link 1 to move while fixing other links, either 2, 3, or 4. So yun yung tinatawag na kinematic inversion. So pinapalitan natin kung ano yung fixed link natin. So example nito is ito. So di ba kanina, slider crank mechanism, yung link 1, yung fix. So if we apply kinematic inversion, we allow other links to be fixed. So example nito is if we allow 2 to be fixed and yung link 1 natin, yung ground, ina-allow natin na mag-move. Example nito is yung radial aircraft engine. So this is also slider crank mechanism where link 2 is being fixed. So makikita to sa aircraft engine. So ito yung example. So as you can see, link 2 here is being fixed. Yung red na part nito, ito yung circle, yung parang electric fan ito. Yung center niya na nagro-rotate siya is hindi dito, nandito. At saka dahil may distance or may length itong link 2 dito, so we allow the piston to move up and down. So yan, kaya nang-move yung piston. So itong klaseng engine na ito is ginagamit sa sa aircraft, pero ngayon parang hindi na siya nag-i-exist. So if we allow link 3, this part here, to be fixed, yan, we have what we call a Whitworth quick return mechanism. So Whitworth quick return mechanism is an inversion of the slider crank mechanism. So as you can see here, ito yung fixed link natin, yung 3. At saka as you can observe, ito yung ground natin na sa slider crank hindi nagmo-move. Dito nagmo-move na siya. Tingnan mo. Nagmo-move na yung link 1 natin or yung ground natin with respect sa sa link 3. So Whitworth quick return mechanism, another example, inversion of slider crank mechanism wherein link 3 is being fixed. Or link 3 is the fixed link. Yun. So another inversion ng slider crank mechanism here is pumping mechanism wherein our slider here is yung fixed link. So example niya is itong pumping mechanism. So we proceed to kinematic pair. So kinematic pair definition is connection between two links. Example nito is hinge. So if you have two links that are connected, the connection between the two links is what we call a kinematic pair. So example nito is hinge. Di ba? Yung pinapasok mo dito, yan. Ang tawag dito is a kinematic pair. And in order to quantify the relative motion ng link using that kinematic pair, that variable is what we call pair variable. So a pair variable is a variable that quantifies the relative motion of the two links that are connected by a kinematic pair. So example ng pair variable is yung angular displacement or angular what you call that? Angular velocity. Yun. So kinematic pair. Classification of kinematic pairs. So kinematic pairs can also be classified into lower pair and higher pair. So yung lower pair is if you have area contact, for example in this picture, so consider siya as lower pair because it has an area contact here. Area contact, area contact. If you have only a point contact or a line contact, ang tawag doon is higher pair. So for this example, if this is a sphere, point contact lang yung sphere dito sa sa cylinder natin. So point point. Pero if you consider this as a cylinder, we have now line contact. So even if it has line contact or point contact, that pair is what we call higher pair. If it has line or point contact. Example nito dito. So types of kinematic pairs. So kanina dinefine natin at classify natin yung kinematic pairs. So meron ding tinatawag na types of kinematic pair. Here we have revolute pair. Revolute pair, it is a lower pair kasi yung hinge na ginagamit dito is or has area contact. Then consider siya as one pair variable because yung movement ng link dito can be quantified by anong variable? Can be quantified by angular displacement, 'di ba? So it has 1 degree of freedom. So in a three-dimensional view, ito siya, 'di ba? Yung angular displacement niya, magmo-move siya dito, yan. So we have also prismatic pair. Prismatic pair, it can move sideways, ito, up, down, up, down. So one pair variable lang, distance. Hindi na angular kasi hindi siya nagmo-move ng paganito. Nagmo-move siya ng paganito. So we have 1 degree of freedom. Another is screw pair, 1 degree pa rin. Cylindrical pair. So two pair variable na to, why 2? Because it can move ito. We can rotate this one as well as we can move this sideways. Diba? So two pair variables here. We have the displacement and the angular displacement. We have spheric pair. We have 3 pair variables. So ito, bakit 3 pair variables? It cannot move along the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. But it can rotate along the x-axis, along the y-axis, and the z-axis. Diba? Kaya it has 3 degree of freedom. Then we also have what we call higher pairs. So higher pairs is somewhat like combination to ng mga pairs. So example dito, we have 2 pair variable kasi it can rotate and it can also translate. So 2 degrees of freedom 'yan. Kasi ito hindi na prismatic, yung kanina prismatic square, so it restrict it to move na pa ganito. So another example ng higher pair, so diniscuss ko to nung first meeting sa ME 142. Yung merong nag-observe. So yun. So let's proceed to motion. So motion, plane motion. A body has plane motion if all its points move in a plane or in planes which are parallel to some reference plane. The reference plane is called a plane motion. Plane motion can be one of 3 types: translation, rotation, or a combination of translation and rotation. So example nito is dito sa sa backhoe natin. It has a plane motion. All the motions of the link here are in parallel to one plane. So translation naman, let's define what is translation. A body has translation if it moves so that all straight lines in a body move to parallel positions. Yeah. And we identify translation as rectilinear translation or curvilinear translation. as rectilinear motion if it moves this way. Yan, straight. If it has curvilinear translation, parang ganito. So meron siyang follow na na path that is curved, pero yung pen natin parallel pa rin yung position niya sa simula. Example, ito. So your pen will move this way. Parang ganyan lang. So parallel siya sa simula pa lang. So we have also rotation. In rotation, all points in a body remain at fixed distance from a line which is perpendicular to the plane of motion. This line is the axis of rotation. The points in the body describe circular path about it. So alam niyo naman yung rotation, di ba? Rotation. Alam niyo na yun. So we have also a combination of translation and rotation. So look at this example. Slider crank mechanism. So as our crank moves, yan, yung mga link natin din magmo-move. So from this position, our crank moves to this position. Yan. So ang maganda sa pag-analyze ng kinematics ng combination of translation at rotation is pwede mong unahin yung translation bago pa yung rotation or vice versa. Pwede if yung motion nyo is combination translation at rotation, so pwede mong i-analyze muna yung translation or yung rotation bago yung teka lang. So pwede mong hatiin into translation at rotation. Example dito. So this movement here, this mechanism here is a combination of translation and rotation. But we can also do this. Una, yung link natin na BC, you can let it move na yung movement niya translation. At saka pa siya magro-rotate. It will end up on the same place as dito. Pwede din natin unahin yung rotation. Example dito, yung BC natin una ni-rotate and then translate. So it ends up pa rin sa the same position as dito. So yun, yung pag-analyze ng motion na combination yung translation at rotation. So we have also spherical motion. So example of that is dito sa figure. If we draw a point sa taas nito, yan, yung motion ng point natin is always yung distance ng point na dirino dito at saka yung center dito is always equal kahit saan pa siya pumunta, yun, saan pa siya mag-rotate or same lang yung distance. That is what we call spherical motion. So a body has a spherical motion if each point in the body has a spherical motion. So we have cycle, period, and phase of motion. So a mechanism completes a cycle of motion when it moves through all its possible configuration and returns to its starting position. So that is what we call a cycle of motion. So yung sa crankshaft, ulit-ulit lang na ganito. So isang ganito yan that is considered as one cycle of motion. So the time it takes or it requires to finish one cycle is what we call a period. Then the relative position of the links at any instant during the cycle of motion for the mechanism constitute a phase. So yung tinatawag natin na phase. So example, yung crankshaft natin, one phase ito, another phase, pabalik. So vectors, let's proceed to defining vectors. So we have scalar quantities and vector quantities. So those quantities that don't have direction and magnitude lang yung meron, that is what we call scalar quantities. Alam ko na alam nyo na to sa physics, di ba? If meron kang magnitude at direction, so that is what we call vector quantities. So if we draw a vector, the arrowhead is what we call the terminus of the vector. The tail is what we call the tail. The end of the tail, the other end of the our arrow, our vector here is what we call the origin. So yung side niya is yung endpoints niya dito is called origin and dito this is called terminus. So in adding vectors, so if we denote, give a symbol of adding vector kagaya nito a plus b, we give a symbol of plus sign and an arrow here. This means that vector A is being added to vector B. So kung subtraction naman, we have a negative sign here. This is vector A minus vector B. So composition and resolution of vector. So composition refers to the adding together of any number of vectors. The sum is called the resultant, and the vectors are called the components of the resultant. So resolution refers to the breaking down of a vector into any number of components. Any vector can be resolved in an infinite number of sets of components. So if you add vectors, that is what you call composition. And the sum of all the vectors is what you call resultant. And if you do resolution sa isang vector component natin, yung components niya, yung tinatawag na components of the resultant. So ganun lang kasimple. So resolution, you are resolving the vectors into its component. While composition, you are adding vectors. So So if you have vector A, B, and C, kahit anong unahin mo i-add, bali B plus A plus C, yung resultant vector niya is always the same. Kahit unahin mo pa si B, C, then at saka si A, resultant vector niya is the same. So just like sa figure na ito, figure 1, 2, at saka 3, kahit anong inunya niya inad, the resultant vector is the same. So here, composition and resolution of vectors. What if given lang, example, in this example, we have vector A. Given tayo ng vector A. At saka, we want to resolve vector A into its component. Pero yung component niya, yung given lang is direction. So ano yung gagawin natin? So we just allow the directions to cross, just like dito, yung example dito. Extend natin tong B, yan. At saka, allow vector A to touch these broken lines. Yan, so graphical way ito of determining the magnitude of the component of A along this direction. So yeah. So next example, what if naman hindi natin alam yung direction ng B at saka C? So we are given vector A. And vector A has components na B at saka C. But what we know is only the magnitude of B and C. And we don't know the direction of the components B and C. So ano yung gagawin natin? So sa graphical solution natin, so we draw vector A. And then magdo-draw tayo ng arc na yung radius ng arc natin is equal sa sa length ng C at saka B. Example dito tayo sa origin ng A. So we draw two arc. So one arc here with a radius of C and another arc here with a radius of B. And then pumunta naman tayo sa terminus ng vector A natin. Again, let's do the same. Gagawa tayo ng arc na may radius na C. Yung pointer ko. Arc na may radius na C at saka another arc na may radius na B. At saka yung intersection natin, i-connect natin yan. Connect at saka connect. Tsaka connect at saka connect. So yun. Ito, we have now the direction of our components. So pwede sa dito C at saka B or ito B at saka C dito. Yan. So that is how we figure out the direction of the components of vector A. So what if naman yung given is ang direction and magnitude of only one component ng vector A. So yung gagawin lang natin, i-connect lang natin yung origin ng B, vector B at saka vector A. And then connect the terminus of the vector A and the terminus of vector B. Makukuha na natin yung magnitude and direction ng vector C. So next, what if naman yung vector A natin, yung components niya na B, ang given lang is direction. Then yung component naman niya na C, ang given lang is magnitude. So ano yung gagawin natin? So first, we draw vector A. And then, we draw an arc na ang radius niya is yung component na given yung magnitude. So dito yung C. So gagawa tayo ng arc. Yan, arc. Then, so yung arc natin yan. Arc. And then, i-draw natin yung direction ng B dito. So, we don't know the magnitude of B. We only knew the direction of B. So, i-draw natin yan. Extend natin yan ganyan. So, now, ito na yung magnitude ng B. Nakuha na natin. At ito na rin yung direction ng C. Nakuha natin. So now, we are able to know the direction of C and the magnitude of B by doing this technique. So yun lang. So as a summary, we have discussed the difference between kinematic and dynamic. We define what is a machine, what is kinematic diagram, what is mechanism, and also I have shown you different inversions ng slider crank mechanism. We have also discussed the kinematic pairs, its classifications, its types, and also we have discussed the motion, cycle, period, and phase of motion. We have also discussed vectors and the composition and resolution of vectors. So that's all for this lecture, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.